Hello, everybody. I was just talking to a friend of mine with regards to the the dark agenda, the satanic system, which it is a satanic system. It's a dark system, and we're coming to an era that I describe as the corrosion of politics. And don't be mistaken that we all see what's happening. That's why it's not working. No, it's all by design. They already knew that they needed to bring a new kind of guru into this world. They already knew that eventually the corrosion of the lies, cheats, and the manipulations of what you believe is presidents or elected politicians, elected. They knew that eventually people would cotton on to it all and realize that one wing and the other wing is a joint to the same body. So what is the next stage? We corrode deliberately the politicians by making them even more corrupt, sharing more lies and manipulations that can't be really understood. Unless you're an NPC, then you'll believe anything if you're hooked onto the guru-like influence of the mental brain virus. I believe anything he says. Sorry about the noise. So, as you can see, Donald Trump now is tweeting out the most ludicrous, evil things, all by design. And if you stand back and see it for what it is, you realize, this is absolutely a clever plan. It makes total sense. He is surrounded by evil, and I'm not saying he's evil. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that his actions speak louder. His words are for anybody who can see what's going on. There is a shift. There is a huge change. It's gone over the line of, like, hang on a minute, this could be true and it isn't true, to the point where this is insane. It's insanity, all by design. There's nothing wrong with him. There's nothing. He's just pushing a narrative that the darkness, evil, and those in control want. So what does that mean? It means that once you've lost all faith in a corrupt system, the system then collapses to a new system. And what is that new system? AI. The AI gurus. That's right. Your Peter Thiels, Palantir, Musk, all the big boys in that field of work that so many people admire and love. And yet when you listen to them and look at them, you scratch your head, as you would as a good soul that can see through, because you are a soul, that something isn't right about this soul. There's something different, and there is something different. They're not human. They're not human. There's some kind of breed, inbred breed, clone or something that is soulless. That's very easy for them to kill without question. Very easy for them to say things that are shocking, and they'll say it with a straight face because there is no empathy there. And they are a breed that you and I cannot understand. We can't understand it. So we're scratching our heads listening to these people talking about death or creating death by way of creating machinery, AI technology that's killing people daily, because ultimately they are your next level or your next, agenda of guru, of you must listen to these people. These people know best. So the erosion of politics is nearly come to an end, and the new system with AI and the new kind of, let's say, gurus, because they're not leaders, they'll be gurus with gazillions of money, which there is no such thing as money. It's all bollocks. Money and all of that is bollocks. So, they say that they've got all this money and they're all powerful. They're just simply put into positions of power and they're given what they needed to be given by the very monsters, evil, satanic entities that run this planet. So you'll see them as, well, you won't, but the 90% of NPCs will see them as gurus. They'll see them as, wow, this guy can, send rockets to the moon, and, he's built this in this place, he's done this, it's all bollocks. It's all utter bollocks. Just like every politician is utter bollocks when you start looking into who they are. And if you want a fresh look at who Tony Blair is, who Boris Johnson is, just go to my last video live with Dominic Waterson. He's brought out a book called Traitors, and it gives you a great understanding of who they are. They're not created by way of growing up and wanting to be a politician. They're born into a position. Basically, they're born and bred into a position to be placed there. So when you think about, oh, I'm voting for the left, I'm voting for the right, no, I'm voting for Farage, it's all bollocks. They're all put into positions, all of them, deliberately, meticulously. But like I said, it's all falling apart, so it doesn't matter, because in another 10 years, politics will have changed. It won't be politics anymore. It will be the new AI black screen gods, and they will be controlling the world, basically. And if you think about it, who is a politician anyway? Nobody. It's just a man in a suit. Who are you? You're nobody. You're just a man in a suit. You piss, you poo, you talk shit. You're just a man. You're nothing more. But the way the system is created, by way of influence, by way of a black screen, by the way of newspapers, they make you believe that there's something very important. They're not. They're not important at all. They're nobody. They're just a figment of your imagination by way of a very clever manipulation, brainwashing. And it's not you who's brainwashed. It's the 90% who are brainwashed. There you go. That's how it works. So the 90% is all they need to target. They know that the 5% who have souls can't be targeted. They can smell the bullshit a mile off. They're stood there over in corner laughing at the 90% saying, what the fuck are they doing? What's wrong with those people? Why can't they see? We got to understand that NPCs don't have souls, so they don't have a conversation inside. The conversation like you have daily is literally you talk to your brain daily. Your spirit is talking constantly, is sharing truth constantly, is giving you information, because your spirit is that what guides your body. That is the ultimate guide of your body. You don't wake up thinking, okay, I'm going to do. Your soul says, this is what we're doing, and we start talking about it. And your soul is the guide, is the driver, is everything. An NPC doesn't have that. That is a body with only a brain. So the darkness, the system knows that they need to get them from babies to brainwash them into exactly how they need to live on this planet, which is you need to grow up, you need to have a wife, you need to get a good job, you need to get married, you need to get a mortgage, you need to get up every morning and work 5 days a week, 6 days a week if you can, at the most important energy of an NPC, which is 9 to 5, and then away with you. Keep climbing that ladder of success, and then get to 60, and then drop dead because you're now a useless eater, and you're no longer good for the system, for the cog to turn. Really simple. The 5% are. What happens with the 5% is that they have no choice. They're children. They have to go to school. They have to go to that prison because their parents have been in that same mentality. So they go through the schooling system knowing that their soul says, this isn't right, I feel sick. NPCs don't think like that. They love it. They'll say, oh, this is great. And there's times when you'll feel it's great, which is sports day, which is times where you're climbing a tree, which is you're outside playing with your friends. But set down, being programmed by bullshit, you feel like you're trapped. NPCs don't feel that. They just do what they do. So as you get older, you start to realize all of this is bullshit. And all the time your soul is saying, hey, Mark, this isn't what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to be finding your path and your joy. Find something that you enjoy. You don't have to be that. You're just fine. And eventually, the 5% break free. They break free from it and they see it, and then they start to find their own path. They listen to their soul, and then they're looking, what is my path? What's my journey? Why? Because your soul is telling you, hey, you're not here to eat, drink, sleep, and scroll. You're here for more than that. You're here to connect. You're here to experience. You're here to, and I'm guiding you, and I'm talking to you daily, and I'm speaking through meditation. I'm speaking through moments of stillness. That's why you need to be still. That's why you need to be in nature. That's why you need to meditate. That's why you need to heal yourself. And plus, you have to take responsibility for your path and journey. Going to psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, psychics, healers, mediums, all of that's okay. But if you don't take control of your life and put action into it, then what a waste of energy and time. So we know as the 5% that will take the action. The 90% will go to counselors, psychics, healers, and they won't do anything more. They'll then go back to the program again and revert back. So it's really interesting. When I used to talk about, when people used to say to me, does everybody, when you do a spiritual reading, does everybody get it? And I'm like, yes, because you're talking to some people who have a soul and some people who don't. And the ones who don't, when they get up, you realize that they didn't digest anything to make the transition. They just digested in a program in their head, and you can feel that they're not going to do anything. And I realized that 90%, well, I used to say 99, would never actually follow through with what they were given as guidance to help them. But then I realized that, what a waste of time, what a waste of energy. But I couldn't stop because my job was to allow people to come and I'd do my best. But you would know when you're speaking to a soul in a body, because you can feel that connection, and they felt it and they felt different. You can feel when you heal somebody who is just a body with no soul and a body with a soul, because they get up and they're cleared of everything and they feel this beautiful warmth and healing. They felt spirit, they felt everything. And an NPC just gets up and feels, a little bit lighter, but they just didn't get it. There's a piece that they just didn't get it. And we battled with that at the beginning. I battled with it. Why is it that person just felt so amazing and these few people just didn't get it? You know, this scientist, this doctor, this nurse, this guy, and then somebody had come and there's just something so different about a body with a soul and a body without a soul. Bodies without a soul, we call NPCs backdrop people. They fill us in. They're part of this world. They're not good, they're not bad. They are just neutral to everything. They play the part of this world, and I believe we are hijacked to play the same part, but they can't do that to us. And I think they don't. Yes, they care, the system cares, but when you step out of the system and realize this is a soul battle, what they're trying to do is hijack the 5%, because they know it's so easy to hijack the 10%. That's why wealthy people with condominiums, with the greatest and biggest of buildings, with board members, they're all dark souls. That's the 5% dark souls. So you've got 5% light souls who are trying to heal and help people, and you've got the dark souls at 5% that are just at the highest level of places. It's very rare that you get a good soul in a high level place. It happens. It does happen, but very rarely. If it happens, it's because it's a natural thing and all the people around them are loving and kind and caring, so they've created in time something very beautiful, very rare. Normally in CEOs, you normally find that there's bullying, there's anger, there's jealousy, there's cheating, there's all sorts of skullduggery around that. That's the 5% of what I believe Dark Souls. And they, in this, the 5% of Dark Souls are the most important thing for the system, and it was created. The system is created for Dark Souls, without a doubt. It isn't created for Light Souls. So what does that mean? It means that no matter what you do to try and be successful, it's going to be very difficult, because you will not cheat, you will not lie, you will not manipulate. But Dark Souls, that is exactly their power. That's their gift. So they're going to get to the top because they can lie, cheat, hustle. They can do all the things to manipulate everybody. Doesn't that make sense? And there's many different forms of Dark Souls. Dark Souls who choose to go up the chain to get to the highest levels, or the Dark Souls that hunt for Light Souls to steal everything that they've got. This topic is so huge, we could talk about it for weeks. But just bear this in mind, that when you battle with yourself because of how the world is changing, maneuvering, shifting towards a new age of AI surveillance, of crypto, of surveillance state, in the sense of you're going to live in this part and they're going to live in that part, and then the carbon tax isn't going to allow you to do this. All of that has got nothing to do with all of that. All of that is simply a shift from one slavery to another slavery. And the new slavery is about 100% keeping you where you are. They don't want you to move. They don't want you to turn. They don't want you to do anything without darkness's permission. This is a new form of slavery. So you'll all be in your zones, just like was predicted years ago on many films, and you will not be able to do anything unless you have got unless you are of darkness, unless you agree to darkness, unless you obey the darkness, you're in deep shit. We're all in deep shit. Why? Because if you agree with darkness, just for the sake of it, then you will be allowed to do a little bit more. So you can't tell the truth. You can't speak bad of darkness, because that will then cause darkness to imprison you in your own home. That's how it'll work. So you will be frustrated. Darkness is smiling because it's like, no matter what you do, you 5%, we're gonna have you, because we know that you can't help but speak the truth. We know that if you keep your mouth shut, it's going to turn you into a negative energy. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to have anger in you, which is exactly what they want. They want the 5% to be in pain and suffering. And if you hate somebody that much, you want to cause as much pain and suffering to them if you're a dark soul. If you're a good soul, even your worst enemy, you don't wish them harm. So you have to understand how the 5% dark souls work. They're constantly hating you. They hate everything about you. You are poison to them. You are the worst poison. You're rat poison to them. You are everything that they need to get rid of. They need to enslave you. They have already enslaved the 90%. They can tell them anything and the 90% will do it. 90% will fight each other. The NPCs will fight each other and shout and scream and separate, believe all football teams and all that shit, all that, like, whatever the separation is. Spiritual, new age, it's all by design. That's easy. They know how to manipulate. Go for a jab or else you're going to die. Oh, quickly, run. Bang them pots and pans. Boom, 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 boom. They've got them. There's nothing you can do. You can't awaken them. You can't do anything about them because they don't have a soul. You can't heal them. You can't give them a psychic reading to be able to look to the future and think, okay, I know what I need to do. They're just a program. What they're after is the 5%. They're after the 5%. The only way they can get them is to incarcerate them. is to enslave them. So everything that they're doing now is to figure out a way to dim our light. And that is like school. So what they're trying to do is bring us back to school again so that we can't speak. We have to be programmed by the system. It basically means that this is the final battle between light and dark. And the problem is the 90% will do what darkness says. And here's proof of this. Even the 90% that know that the jab was wrong and they'll say, oh, it was wrong, they will still do the next thing that dark system wants them to do. Tell me I'm wrong. Oh yeah, it's true. The jab was bad. Oh, thank God for that. They're waking up. Yeah, but these we really need carbon. We really need that. No, they're not spraying. No, that's vapor trails. Like, come on, guys. We have to understand that we are wasting our energy on the wrong people because it ain't gonna work. And okay, well, we're going to make a change. Look, now everybody knows that the jabs are bad, and they're like, no, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. I'm sat in airports watching people playing football, falling down, having an heart attack, and everybody's watching, saying, oh, isn't that terrible? Oh, he's such a young man too. No, you can't give conscious to an unconscious body. So there is a battle, and that's what we're up against daily. And we're trying to figure out, all of us are trying to figure out how to maneuver, what to do next. What is our path? What's our journey on this planet? If I'm here to try and make a difference in this world, to shine a light so that darkness does not fully control everything, we are the final ones stood there in the battle of the final part of Lord of the Rings, where there's 100,000 monsters all around us and there's only a handful of us. We're waiting for that ring to melt. We're waiting for something to happen so all the monsters go back to where they belong. How does it end? You think God's going to come and save us all? Do you think somebody's going to do something that makes a difference? Do you think Jesus is going to come? Do you know how many prophets there are in this world who claim to be either one with God, and they are prophets, and do you really going to believe any of that, knowing that hijack, that has been taking place forever, and most of them do that because they're evil souls, and now they can manipulate and have little children around them so they can play with them, that they can marry teenagers and kids, that they can do the most disgusting things to them? I'm not so sure about Jesus coming back. And look what happened last time. That didn't end well, did it? They just got hold of him and nailed him to a cross. Why is it that people are relying on Jesus to come back? What's he going to do? What can he do? Unless he has a wrath and he just basically burns all the evil souls. But Jesus is a forgiver. He's come for our sins. So he believes that we're all good as he's being nailed to the cross. If you believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that Jesus was nailed to the cross. I don't believe that at all. I think that is a story. That's a story. And it was a powerful story. And it's made good for every single century that's gone by. It's such a powerful story. It's unbelievable. The cross is the biggest marketing, I think, success ever. It's around most people's necks. They will not do anything. They will not fight. They will not stand up for themselves. They will not do anything towards the darkness. It is the perfect way to not do anything. We'll just wait till Jesus comes. Turn the other cheek. All the things that an evil person would write down if he wants to get away with evil. So goodness doesn't want to fight. Good souls don't want to hurt anybody. We come from a world where we don't want to hurt. I was talking to a lovely man the other day here who's a healer. And I'm going to try and get him on a podcast. I love his take. It's not my take, but I love his take. I love how he sees the world, how he sees that we are all one, and we have to take care of certain things. But he talks about, we have to kill certain people and stuff like this. Is a Hindu man, but it's like I love the way he talks about stuff. It's so simplistic, and if somebody is trying to kill you, if somebody's trying to kill your children, then you have to defend yourself. You have to. This guy is never going to stop, and he's trying to kill you. You're going to have to kill him. This is how he feels. Like this is the way the world works. Animals do the same, and blah blah blah. And it's really interesting. Not my take, but it's nice to listen to how what he says, and how he is a healer, and the power of darkness and evil just can't stay. And I look at my life as a healer when I was 38, and I was just like him. When I was in that energy work, I was just like him. When people used to talk to me about evil and entities and attachments and demonic, I used to just smile and say, it means nothing unless you put focus on it. Just, who is it? Don't tell them to come, but don't tell them to tell me anything I don't want to know, because I don't want to focus on it. And I'd give them a healing session, and then they'd get up and their friends would say they feel better, they're back to normal. Like, oh, thank you so much. What did you do? And I'm like, I just gave healing. It's really simple. So he's very much like that. He doesn't put focus on darkness. He knows darkness is around. He knows that people have attachments, but it doesn't have the power. It has no power over him. And I'm like, just like I used to heal. Just like that. Don't even, like, people on the phone, Mark, this is happening. Like, stop. Just stop. Stop what you're saying. Get up here and let's clear it away, and let's get on with our life, and let's have some happiness. You ask any of my clients, that's what I used to say. I didn't used to sit down like most healers and say, okay, tell me everything. What do I want to know about? That's not even important. It's not important. If you are a true healer and you know you can heal somebody from whatever issue they've got, why would you even need to know what they've got? You're just putting yourself into that energy and focused on it. So it's really interesting how that all works. I wanted to talk to you about something today with regards to I just wrote it down here, making predictions. I want to talk about predictions because as a spiritual reader, it was never about making predictions. And whenever I do videos on here, if I take my cards out and do predictions, I'm always hesitant to do a prediction for everybody, because everybody is different. And that's why I used to say, I was asked by people like Colin Fry to be part of his tour. And I used to say, it's not for me. I can't do that, because I feel like when I'm stood in front of a crowd, I don't feel comfortable talking about, maybe like I used to hear this, it used to bother me a lot. Like a woman would be there, and then the crowd, a medium would say, "Oh, you had a termination." I'm sorry, but I freak out at stuff like that. I just think it's so personal when you do spiritual readings for one person. So I couldn't do that kind of thing. It wasn't me. I didn't feel happy or right about it, So my point being is, whenever I do a reading and I say, okay, well, let's have a look at what the world's going to be like in 6 months or a year, it's very broad. And I might say, Spain, and it's never, I have never found myself talking like many of the psychics out there who make it sound, huge. And then I've always wondered, because it's when you're attuning to the future, you must ask yourself, why am I not like attuning into all those who are saying all of these things, these wild things? Why is it mine is so boring? Pretty boring, my readings, when I'm talking about, like, it might be a bit bad, but you're going to be okay. Not like, why am I not like I just think that singularly, if I'm sat with you giving you a reading, I can give you more specifics because it's your journey. I'm hearing one or two voices, messages that are coming through for you, specifically on your journey and many paths that you have. I can specifically tune into something that I feel is going to be helpful, and if something's going to be difficult, I'm going to give you some kind of tools to help you on that path. So then you either choose to go on that path or go on another path. So whenever you get to like this idea of a crossroads, which way shall I go? If I'm giving you 2 or 3 alternatives and saying, right, this is what could happen along here, just be mindful of this. Here's some tools for this. It might take this length of time to go through that. And then it's more specific, right? Whereas when you speak to a whole mass of people, how are you able to be specific? You can't. It's impossible. So I've always struggled to do like readings for, let's say, the horoscopes, right? Although I do them and you can listen back to them, they're not thunderbolt and lightning strikes. They're not like, oh my God, he said that I would meet somebody with blue eyes and he'd be in his 30s and he'd be a surveyor. Not because you can. You can. You can only give a broad reading with limited information to suit the crowd. So it kind of is a bit boring, really. But there are people who do go back to those readings and say, I actually gone back to that reading and it's now more evident that this really makes sense now, which I've always said, when a one-to-one reading happens between me and you, just shelve it, don't think about it and live your life. And at any point you remember a thought comes back to the reading and where you are, that's how you use it. Oh my God, I remember Mark saying something about this and he said, maybe if I do it like, okay, now I know what to do. And I think a reading always sits with a good soul. It always sits inside them. You don't need to write it down. That writing down and taping was for NPCs. Seriously. But if I knew it was a good soul and like, if I had a reading, I never wrote it down because I know my soul will intake it and it'll know. And sometimes you have readings with what I call dark souls without even realizing. That's when I used to say you need to get up and walk off. If you feel bad at any moment, don't be frightened of getting up and walking off, because there are a lot of dark souls that have infiltrated the psychic and spiritual world. Wonder why that is? Well, think about it. If narcissists try to hijack you, surely they're going to try and hijack every single good person that comes for a reading. So they're going to put fear into them. They're going to tell them all the bad things. They're going to say how weak they are and what they need to, like just stuff that when you get up, you feel like shit, right? That's what happened to me with one guy. Made me feel like shit. And I said to a friend of mine many years ago, he paid €300 for this reading in Spain with this guy. And he was so famous as a medium. And he came to me and sat down, and it was the complete opposite. That's when I knew there's something really wrong here. And I said to him, if you follow his instructions, you'll lose everything. And because my readings were €65, he put, and he was an NPC, he put his emphasis on, well, it cost me more money, so it makes sense to listen to the person with more money. And what did he lose? He lost his dog pound, where he used to have dogs. He lost the house. He lost his wife. Everything, because he was told by this guy not to sell his house because somebody else was going to come along and pay him more. And he was at the very point where he needed to sell it. If he didn't sell it, it was going to be shit hit the fan. And the banks were going to pull out on him and all that. I said, sell. This is a perfect moment, a perfect opportunity. Sell the house, please sell the house. He didn't, lost everything, and guess what? He ended up in prison as well. So there are dark souls that are, I believe, in the spiritual realm, pretending, just like there are narcissists hijacking good souls to try and change their life and steal everything and make them sick and unwell. Something to think about. So there you go. That's my little chat today. Cheers. Fresh coconut. I'm very lucky. I should be here talking about wonderful, beautiful things. I should be. And I ask myself why I'm not. And my soul always says, because you need to speak the truth. I could be in a bubble now, just not giving a shit about any of you and thinking this is a great life and why should I even bother? But I do bother because I do care. I do care, hand on heart. I want you to have the tools. I want you to have knowledge. I want you to have wisdom and to put it into practice to make the changes in your life. That's why you're here. You're here to shine a light. You're here to keep the last line of defense before it turns to hell on earth, I believe. Will we win? I don't know. I don't know if that I actually feel most of the time when I ask that question to Spirit, I always feel like it will, and it will always be. This is how it feels when I ask. It doesn't feel like there's going to be an outcome to anything, because there never is, because it's an ongoing thing that always happens. It just changes in ways. The manipulation changes in so many ways, and good souls are here to remind good souls and to help good souls each other. So what pain we go through, we're here to share our pain and so that you can learn. And these are what I believe the tools and the wisdom that helps us. Not that you won't go through it, but valid point that when you do go through it, you're not the only one. You've heard about it. Wow, you feel better for it. Meaning that maybe we all need to go through all of this light and dark stuff. Maybe we all are challenged by evil. Maybe we're all challenged by NPCs. Maybe we have to experience this. Maybe it's our journey. It's always a maybe. We don't truly know. I used to talk about people who used to come to me and I used to read for them, and I'm like, I really believed. I could never work it out. The only way I could see it is like, this person's on holiday. Everything about this person's life is so bloody normal. Children, marriage, good business, or good job, grandchildren, all healthy, all happy. I don't see an issue. I saw people like that. I just couldn't understand, what is that? And then you realise there are certain bodies that come here that just are created by whatever this creation is of a body without a soul, and continues this journey, and it doesn't affect them. There is no effect. It just is. It's almost like it's like, I saw a film I didn't watch it all, but there was somebody in this film and somebody said to him, this isn't real. And he said, of course it's real. He said, no, the bombing and the cars and all that are happening around us. It's because it's a game that you're in. It's all a game. None of these people are real. It's like the Truman Show. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. And the more you experience life, the more you see things in a unique way, and the more you grow and the more you experience. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating. And the one thing I could share with you today is, whatever you've been through, don't hold grudges. Don't look at it as if you've got bad luck. Don't look at it as if you're always being tested and you've got bad karma. Don't ever feel bad about anything, because that's what darkness is trying to create for all the good souls. Don't buy into it, because it's not our energy. And that's why you feel bad when you are in the energy of darkness. Darkness will always try to penetrate you with so many different ways, making you feel sick by eating the wrong foods, making you feel bad by watching the wrong things on the black screen, and by forces that come around you, which are dark souls that try to infiltrate you with entity attachment and demonic. You're always up against these things. You're watched all the time. So, how do you turn that around? You turn it around by thinking, wow, I must be powerful. I've said this before. There's been many a times that people have been in contact with extraterrestrials, and the one thing they always say is that you do not know how powerful you are. You have no idea how powerful you are. Imagine if you really truly understood that, if you sat and pondered on it. We are powerful, but we are drawn into this world, this illusion. My bad job, I hate my life, I'm always sick. All of those things can be rectified by you, by standing up and saying no more. I'm going to take my life into my own hands. And you have to have that power. Nobody will give it you. No healer will help you with that. No psychologist, no counselor, no psychic, only you. All of those 5% of good souls are trying to help you create the life that you deserve and you want. And that life is to shine your light wherever you are, to be the most beautiful guide for others, and to share your truth and be happy inside without the fear and the worry of other people's weaknesses. I don't give a shit what people think about me. I used to do, and that's what held me back. Don't. Be who you're meant to be. Listen to the little tiny things inside you that say, you're beautiful, and this is why you're beautiful. Don't ignore them. Don't ignore them signs of how special you are and why you're special. Because I tell you now, I know that you know you're special. And when you realize how special you are, instead of me realizing it, that's when you've got it. What is your gift? I realized my gift because I couldn't work out why I wasn't shining. Like, why am I not shining? I know, because I'm measuring myself to everybody else. Stop. That's a killer. That will kill you. Start to look at who you are and what is special about you. Oh, you can't do that. You're selfish. Oh, you must be filled with ego. All deliberately done by darkness. You are special. You are beautiful. And I'm not talking in the way of a dark soul would say it, because that's what narcissists do. That's why it's so difficult for us to go there. But you are allowed to do it. You are allowed to ask yourself, what is it about me that is special in this world? Meaning, why am I here? What is the contribution I have to this world to shine a light? Just like Lord of the Rings. So you've got Gandalf, his speciality is with his stick and his crystal on there. And he can shine a light through that crystal, and that kills darkness. And then you've got the guy with the bow and arrow, his gift is a bow and arrow. And then you've got, that was Legolas. And then you've got the king who uses his sword really well. And then you've got the dwarf who has an axe. It's kind of the same principle. What's your gift? But not in killing people. What is your gift? What makes you special? You've got to figure that's why you're here. That's why we're here. You are equal to everybody else. Nobody even listens to that when I say it. You are equal to all the 5% of good souls that are on this planet. You're just slightly different in your unique way. You've got to figure out that just slightness of what. Oh. And as a reader, I used to read for good souls and then just give them a reminder of who they were. And they used to get up and they were crying all the way through the reading, and they'd get up and they'd give me a cuddle and then get on with their journey, and they knew what they needed to do. Be your own reader, be your own psychic, because your soul will tell you exactly who you are. But most of us have been so beat up, most of us have been hijacked by darkness because they know they don't want you to talk to your soul. They don't want your soul to talk to your brain, so that your brain, which is your body, and your soul work hand in hand. And no matter how many distractions there are, we need to be stronger than. So I do wish you a lovely day, guys. I do. Today I am feeling really good. I thought I was going to wear the Moldavite trio today on it with pink Dambarite, and for some reason I just went for Angel Aura. So I put them together, and I've got to say, I think it's one of the most beautiful connections. Kind of makes sense. Angel Aura is always that energy to touch your soul and connect to the spirit world. Moldavite with Herkimer Diamond and Tektite is the balancer for everything of communication to our higher selves and to what I believe is the extraterrestrial world as well. So we're attuning to other energies. See what you think. I think that's quite a beautiful energy. And I held it this morning and meditated for about 30 minutes, and I just got such amazing downloads. And there was a lot of healing taking place, a lot of healing in the way of, it's not like I'm healing over something that's hurting. It's more, healing can be a recognition of something. I recognize that I don't have issues, bitterness, anger, and you're reminding yourself that's a form of healing. When I used to sit down with clients, all I did was remind them who they were, and I think with these two together, I think that what I've figured is that it's a reminder of everything that we are and who we are. So I think it's a great combination. I know it's 4 crystals, but for me, this is something that I don't want to take off. I want to leave on because I'm getting so much high vibe from it. And it's amazing. Sometimes you just, like, I kept thinking, because somebody mentioned it on one of the comments, and I thought, wow, that's a great combination. I'm going to wear it. And I had the pink Dambarite there, and I'm like, the Angel Aura is calling. And I just went with my gut feeling, and what an amazing combination. Feels great. Whether you believe in crystals or not, it doesn't matter. I know that they work. And for those who do understand that, maybe it's a good idea to put them on today. And I do wish you a lovely day. I do. It's a beautiful day. When we talk about fake people, I think we just need to know 3 things. We need to know if they're a good soul from our home world, if they're a dark soul from a dark spirit world, or if they're NPCs, that there's basically nothing there other than the program. The program is easy. When you speak to programmed NPCs, it's easy. You walk away, it's no problem. They don't affect you unless you listen to the program. When you're with dark souls, they're manipulators. They're the ones you have to watch out for. They're the ones that will absolutely hijack everything in a smile. And you always know they are a dark soul, but your heart and soul always wants to help and heal and think that you can fix everything. So you always have this itch that there's something wrong all the time, and you override that itch by the kindness and the love that you are. Don't stop being that person, but just be aware of that itch. That itch is a little voice called your soul, and your soul is saying, hey, this isn't the person that you think it is. No matter what you're doing, what you're going through, no matter what they're doing, how they're pretending to be this and helping you, just listen. Listen to your soul, not your head. This is why I said a lot of the times when I used to do readings, people used to say, oh my God, I can't believe it. I listened to my heart and not my head. And if I'd have listened to my head, I wouldn't have been with them and gone through all of this. And I'm like, yeah, how darkness has just manipulated everything. When you listen deeply to your soul, that is the truth. And it's actually your brain that tells you to do the dumb, stupid things. Don't blame it on your heart. Stop blaming your heart. Your heart doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't manipulate you. It does not give you false information, because your heart is connected right to your spirit, your soul. That's who you are. The trouble is, most people listen to their brain. And that's why I said, when I used to give readings, the biggest battle, whenever I did an interview, somebody says, what's the biggest battle there ever is? I said, between your heart and your mind. And everybody's got it the wrong way around. They always think, oh, it's my brain. I shouldn't have listened. Oh, I should have listened to my brain, but I listened to my heart. No, it's the other way around, pal. You got it completely wrong. But then again, if that is something that is part of the demonic system, realizing that, wow, this is a big thing, they're going to manipulate it. They're going to change it. They're going to hijack it, just like healing. There's no such thing as healing. It's all in your imagination. Yeah, your imagination is the key to the spirit world, because it's not an imagination. It's your third eye. It's your spirit talking and showing you images through your eyes, your inner eyes. That's your inner eyes. That's not your outer eyes. That's your inner eyes. That's how you can see. Oh, it's placebo. They know. They need to change that. They don't want you to know that you can heal yourself and that you can heal others. It's placebo. They're just thinking, yeah, isn't it powerful? Just change that word placebo to self-healing. Yes, you can self-heal. I've self-healed. Within 3 months, I've healed. My body is healed. Absolutely is healed inside out, mind, body and soul. 3 months, that's all it's taken. Why? Because I know the power of healing. And I healed myself. It takes time. Of course, it takes time. It's not a quick fix, but everything, leaky gut because of the pain and suffering that you've been through. Heartache. You feel like you've just built walls around it because you don't want to be hurt anymore, so you have to break them walls away. There's so much. Your mind has gone crazy because you listen to you just think, now it's all clearing. You're seeing the truth. This is healing, guys. Is this ever going to stop for me? No. Am I going to be challenged again? Of course I am. Life will be boring otherwise. I have to be challenged. Is the ultimate goal never to be affected by anything? What's the point being here? You won't learn anything. Yes, there's only so much Mother Nature you can be in, but you've got to learn. And you learn from Mother Nature. You have to learn from dark souls. You have to learn from them to become stronger and understand everything. That's the journey. I'm not saying you're a soldier. I'm not saying you're a warrior, but I'm saying that you're here to experience, to bring that energy of understanding and experience back to our beautiful oceans, so we learn and become stronger and we expand. I think knowledge expands you. The more you've learned, the more you've grown, the more your energy gets wider. The more you love, the more you care, the more you expand. The more you get over problems, the more you expand. That's how I see it anyway. For now. I do wish you a lovely day from Bali. I send you all my love, and I'll turn the camera around unless you want to tell me something. Yeah. I knew a man, great point, by the way, fantastic point about darkness and unwilling to heal. The reason why they're unwilling to heal is because that is not their energy to heal. Their energy to heal is do wrong or squeeze somebody's breasts, and make them suffer a bit, and be abusive. That's their form of healing, guys. They feed from you. That's why whenever you offer, like I thought I knew somebody once, years ago, and I put them on a pedestal because of the like I said, it really is quite amazing when you realize how genius these are. And some people will say to me, and I've had topics of conversation about this as well, yes, no, they're not all geniuses, But the ones who have a massive IQ, the ones who have, let's say, photographic memories, the ones who have been super geniuses and they've studied all sorts of ancient whatever, and then you come to meet them and realize, Jesus Christ, this person is something not feels right, feels weird. It feels so much ego and need for desire and love, and it's like, this is, and like, you want to offer them a healing session and it feels like they're going to burn, or even say, do you want a massage, and like, don't touch me. It's like, wow, yeah, now I understand. And then all of a sudden they start doing things that like, oh no, that's not right. And that's why I said never ever put anybody on a pedestal just because they know information, just because they share information. That's not who they are. They're just using that as a manipulation to cover up for who they truly are, which is a dark soul. So you're right. They will not want healing. It will feel like burning to them because they're a dark soul. Dark souls will burn when you give healing. It will burn. It will feel uncomfortable. They'll feel angry. Just like a good soul, if they're connected to entity and attachment, you'll see them falling all over the place, like being uncomfortable because we're burning away the darkness that wants to stay in them. And once it's gone, they break down into tears and feel joy and happiness, and they feel themselves again. The spell is gone. The attachment is gone. This field that I'm talking about, this conversation is so big. There's so many things to talk about. I can talk to you all day for years about this. It doesn't just, what I'm saying today isn't everything. There's so much more. And I try and give tidbits every now and again, a little bit here, a little bit there, so as not to overwhelm all of us with all this information, because sometimes it's too much. Too much information isn't healthy, just little bits at a time. So there you go. So you're right, absolutely. That's why when you start to cleanse somebody and they start getting upset and angry, you either know that they're a dark soul or they have attachments. It's the attachment energy that is fighting in that body, not wanting to go. It's not them, and you can actually feel that. Like, this is a good soul, but they've been hijacked by darkness. They're in an abusive relationship, and when you are in an abusive relationship, that person, that abusive person, is a dark soul, and they are basically like snakes coming out of them, and they're attacking you, and that's why you're always hijacked. And that's when you walk away from that person and you start going crazy, thinking all sorts of bad thoughts, because your soul is trying to work out why you're feeling bad. But basically your brain is trying to work it out. Your soul is trying to tell you the truth, and the truth is that you're attached now to dark entities that dark soul is put onto you. Fears open you up straight away. An entity can come in, an attachment can come in, so you can be riddled with attachments because you're living with a narcissist. That's why phenomena happens around them all the time. Why is that? And then when you leave, you're like, everything's perfect, life's beautiful. Wow, I didn't realize life can be like that. Why is that? Because you were under a spell, you were under attack. There is so much truth in what I'm saying. It's not lies, it's truth, but there's so much more truth to it. There's so much more. We can deep dive into this, and we'll keep going. I've got at least another 10 years that I can keep going, and I will, and I'll do as much as I can to help and to share what I believe is some kind of truth. I don't believe it's all the truth, but there is snippets of truth within whatever I'm saying. You might disagree with loads of stuff, but there might be some truth in there. And if you feel like, oh, that feels right, follow that. Because I'm not here to tell you to do anything. I'm just sharing what I've learned. And if something's touched you, I always say follow that. Not follow me, follow that. Because whatever that was, that's your soul saying, listen to that bit. And if you listen to that bit and follow it, you won't be let down. I used to listen, like I'd listen to a whole of a shaman talking, and there was one bit where I went, whoa, and then I go, okay, that's for me. That's for me, because my soul has told me, yes, that's where you are now. This is the point where you are now, Mark. That's why I used to say, when you read a book, you'll read it all the way through, and then one line or one chapter, you'll just be blown away. That's because that's where you are right now. And that's why you've been brought there, to listen to it. I mean, you're not going to hear everything that one person's going to say that's going to make sense. And that's never been the point. The point is there something in here that I need to hear? Is the hairs on the back of my neck going to stand up? Am I going to be, oh my God, I feel that? That's where you are. That's the bit, what you need to walk. That's the part that you need to heal or start on. All right, I've talked too much. I wish you a lovely day, and I hope you haven't been bored today with this. I do go all around. I must admit I do. I always remember in the circle nights, people used to say afterwards, used to look at me and come up to me and say, you know, Mark, when you started talking, I'm like, where the hell is this guy going with this conversation? And he said, and then at the end of the night, when you did the healing and the meditation, and then you do a final talk, you put it all together. And it's amazing how you do that. That's what they used to say about me. I didn't know, but I did know that I just used to go off on one, just go all over the place. And the reason why is because I'm touching certain people at certain points. I don't know who I'm touching, how I need to say, I don't know what I need to say. I've got nothing written down, but I just start talking. And at the end of the night, people would say, there was just something that you said tonight that really touched me. What they're saying is that that what you said tonight is what I needed to hear. So thank you, Spirit, for guiding me and giving me that information that I, for some reason, can't attune to, which you should. That's why we meditate, because you need to hear that very message in yourself. That's why I go on the bike and all of a sudden I'll get this thunderbolt and lightning strike message. Oh my God, yes, I know. We can do it. But some of us are in such a difficult place because we're being hijacked with poisons sprayed inside our mouths, listening on the black screen, that it's hard for us to even stop and listen to it. So sometimes we will go to somebody who is a guide, who is sharing something that will give us that information, because the spirit world knows that you're sat there now and it's going to come out of your mouth. That's why I never write anything down. I just feel the energy and just speak. And that's what I'm doing now. This is my circle. You are part of the circle. I am part of your circle. This morning or this afternoon or this evening, right now. And we're doing a circle night, and this talk is exactly what I would have done on a circle night in Spain or in Italy or wherever I was in the world. This is a circle night. This is a circle. It's not a podcast. It's a circle night, and hopefully what I've shared with you, which I only had one point and I only said it just a little bit, but everything else was the flow from, I believe, the spirit world. Not from my brain, but from my soul to you. I'm not here to manipulate. I'm not here to tell you to buy my crystals, incense and oils. I'm here because I just want to share what I felt today and in this moment. And I try to be in the moment every time, because I know if I'm in the moment, I'm not in my brain. And if I'm in my brain, I'm limited. If I'm flowing, it comes from what I believe the universe that allows us the information that we all need. I need to hear it just as much as you. In fact, probably more. So when I speak, I'm like, oh, that's for me. So, yeah, have a great day. Love you all. Till tomorrow, have a great day. Take care of